Hello everyone! Today we will be talking about our linguistics project prepared by Fairuz Muhammad, Malak Muhammad Fathi, and Maria Sameh. Year 2. And right now we will be explaining our linguistics project, which is the linguistics definition, the science of language, also how studies human communicate and organize thoughts. It looks at how language works in general, groups of related languages like Germanic ones, English, German, etc., specific languages such as Arabic and French, and how people use language in less clear ways like emergence, mixing languages, or bilingual, choosing which to use. Also, linguistics is a basic human science similar to sociology, psychology, and anthropology.
Applied linguistics is a specialized branch of linguistics. It is a field that studies and solves real-world language problems. It combines research and practical solutions to address how language is used and understood in everyday life. Applies findings in various contexts such as work and education, help improve communication in jobs and schools, family and legal systems, solving language problems in families and courts, technology and information science, creating tools like translation apps or better software. Psychology and learning, helping people learn languages or fix speech issues. Natural language, improving how humans and computers communicate. In summary, applied linguistics uses knowledge about language to solve real-life issues in many fields.
Applied linguistics is an interdisciplinary field of linguistics that identifies, investigates, and offers solutions to language-related real-life problems. Some of the academic fields related to applied linguistics are education, psychology, communication research, anthropology, and sociology. The tradition of applied linguistics established itself in part as a response to the narrowing of focus in linguistics with the advent in the late 1950s of generative linguistics, and has always maintained a socially accountable role, demonstrated by its central interest in language problems. Although the field of applied linguistics started from Europe and the United States, the field rapidly flourished in the international context. Applied linguistics first concerned itself with principles and practices on the basis of linguistics. In the early days, applied linguistics was thought as linguistics applied at least from the outside of the field. In the 1960s, however, applied linguistics was expanded to include language assessment, language policy, and second language acquisition. As early as the 1970s, applied linguistics became a problem-driven field rather than theoretical linguistics, including the solution of language-related problems in the real world. By the 1990s, applied linguistics had broadened, including critical studies and multilingualism. Research in applied linguistics was shifted to the theoretical and empirical investigation of real-world problems in which language is a central issue. In the United States, applied linguistics also began narrowly as the application of insights from structural linguistics, first to the teaching of English in schools and subsequently to second and foreign languages teaching. The linguistics applied approach to languages teaching was promulgated most strenuously by Leonard Bloomfield, who developed the foundation for the Army Specialized Training Program, and by Charles C. Fries, who established the English Language Institute at the University of Michigan in 1941. In 1948, the Research Club at Michigan established Language Learning, a journal of applied linguistics, the first journal to bear the term applied linguistics. In the late 1960s, applied linguistics began to establish its own identity as an interdisciplinary field of linguistics concerned with real-world language issues. The new identity was solidified by the creation of the American Association for Applied Linguistics in 1977.
Theoretical linguistics is the study of the basic principles that make language work. It focuses on understanding the rules and patterns shared by all human languages, aiming to explain how we produce and understand language. The field has 5 main areas. The first one, phonetics and phonology. These study sounds. Phonetics focuses on how sounds are produced and heard, while phonology looks at how these sounds are organized in a language. For example, why some sounds can start a word but others cannot. Morphology. This area looks at how small parts of words, called morphemes, like prefixes or suffixes, combine to create full words. For instance, adding ed to walk makes walked, showing past tense. Syntax. This is about sentence structure, how words are arranged to form grammatically correct sentences, like why we say I'm here and not am I here. Semantics. This studies meaning, how words and sentences carry information such as why cat refers to a small animal and how sentences can express complex ideas. Pragmatics. This focuses on context, showing how the meaning of words or sentences changes depending on the situation, like saying it's cold to request closing a window. Theoretical linguistics aim to discover universal rules that apply to all languages, helping us understand how people learn, use, and process language. This work is important for areas like education, translation, and artificial intelligence.
Now we will talk about morphology. Morphology is a branch of the theoretical linguistics that studies the building of the creating and information of words. Morphemes. Morphemes is the smallest unit of meaning or grammatically function. We have 2 types of morphemes, free morphemes and bound morphemes. The free morphemes can stand by themselves as a single word, like number, basic, form. The bound morphemes can stand alone, like any word ends with ed, s, ist.
Hi everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining me. In this video, I'll be discussing common word formation processes that are used not just in English, but in languages all around the world. I'll discuss coinage, borrowing, compounding, blending, clipping, conversion, back formation, and acronyms. Let's get started. First is coinage. Coinage is also known as a neologism, which is the invention of a completely new word. Now, coinage is often used by companies when they create names of products such as Kleenex or aspirin, but they also involve the creation of maybe new materials or objects such as nylon, Teflon, or zipper. In fact, coinage is often used to create new slang terms. Why are you wearing that? What do you mean? It's just a shirt. I don't know. It's just kind of chuggy. Yeah, well, I think you're chuggy for using that word. Next is borrowing, which involves taking a word from one language and using it in another language. So in English, for example, we have words such as tattoo, yogurt, and tycoon. Note that even though words may be borrowed from another language, these words are often slightly modified to fit the sound system of the target language. So in English, for example, speakers are much more likely to say croissant rather than croissant. Okay, but why is it called borrowing if you never give it back? Next is compounding, which involves taking 2 separate words and joining them to form another word. Examples in English include bookcase, sunburn, and redneck. Fun fact for you is that in English, compounds place primary stress on the first syllable. So speakers will say bookcase rather than bookcase. Next is blending. Blending is like compounding, except blending involves taking just parts of 2 different words and combining them into another word. So examples in English would include Spanglish, infomercial, and chocoholic. Chocolate. Next is clipping, which involves taking longer forms in turning them into shorter, often monosyllabic or one-syllable forms. Some examples in English include gas, flu, and app. Next is conversion, which involves using a word in a different part of speech or lexical category. So for example, in English, email came first. It was used as a noun, as in I will send you an email later. But over time, speakers began using email as a verb, as in I will email you later. Note, however, that whether it's used as a noun or a verb, it's still the exact same form, email. Next is back formation. Now, back formation is really similar to conversion in that a word is used in a different lexical category, but in addition, there is a change in form. So, for example, in the English language, editor came first, and then over time, speakers began to use the form edit through back formation. Now, note here a couple of things. First of all, editor and edit are two different forms, but editor is a noun and edit is a verb in most contexts. Finally, we have acronyms, which are words formed by the initial letters of a series of other words. So examples in English might include laser, which stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation, and scuba, which stands for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Now, similar to acronyms are alphabetisms, which are not pronounced as actual words like scuba or laser, but alphabetisms are where you actually pronounce each letter. So examples in English might include USA, CD, or VCR. Bro, how old are you? Do you have any other examples of these word formation processes in English or any other language that you may speak? If so, please post them in the comments section below. Otherwise, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and in the meantime, stay safe.
Types of word formation process in morphology. The formation of word is classified into 4 types based on how the process of formation is carried out. They are: first, by adding prefix. Second, by adding suffix, converting from one word class to another. Third, forming compound words. Now we will talk about some of types of word formation, which is coinage, borrowing, compounding, blending, clipping, back formation, acronymy, conversion, and now we will talk about some of them. First is compounding. Compound words are formed by combining different parts of speech to create new words with specific function. First, we have compound verbs. Verb plus adjective give me high, light. Compound noun, which is noun plus noun like toothbrush, adjective plus noun like greenhouse, adverb plus noun like overload, present participle plus noun like washing machine. Third, compound adjectives, like adjective plus past participle, like when known. Now we will talk about the second type of word formation in morphology, which is blending. Blending parts of 2 or more words are combined to create a new word, often capturing meaning from both original words. First, we have common blends. Like brunch, it's breakfast plus lunch, smog, smoke plus fog, motel, motor plus hotel. Second, technology related to blends. Blog, web plus log, vlog, video plus blog. Wikipedia, wiki plus encyclopedia. Bluetooth, blue plus tooth inspired by a Viking king names. Third, food and drink. Like turducken, turkey plus duck plus chicken. Fourth, pop culture. Like Bollywood, Bombay plus Hollywood. Blending is a creative way to form a new word by merging concepts from the original term. Third type, which is borrowing, is a linguistics process in which one language takes words, phrases, or expressions from another language and incorporates them into its own vocabulary. These borrowed words are often adopted to fit phonological, morphological, or syntactic rules of the borrowing language. First, we have words from French, like cuisine, which is cooking, ballet, which is a type of dance, Rendezvous, which is a meeting. Words from Arabic, which is algebra, from الجبر. Coffee, from قهوة. Sugar, from. We have also words from Italian, like piano, a musical instrument, pizza, a type of food, opera, a dramatic art form. Words from Japanese, karaoke, it's a singing along to music. Tsunami, a large sea wave. Samurai, a Japanese warrior. From German, like kindergarten, it's a children's gardens. Hamburger, a type of sandwiches. The borrowing enriches language by introducing new concepts and terms from other cultures. Now we have the fourth type of word formation in morphology, which is coinage. Coinage is inventing completely new name like inventions, brands, or concepts. These words are not derived from existing terms, but are invented or coined. We have some examples, which is like brand names that become common words and popular, like Google, used as a verb meaning to search online. Second, Kleenex. Kleenex used generically for tissues. Fifth type, which is clipping. Clipping is a word formation process in which a longer word is shortened to create simpler form, while retaining the original meaning. The clipped word is often more casual and commonly used in everyday language. We have some examples of clipping. First, back clipping, which is removing the ending of the word, like exam from examination, photo from photograph, gym from gymnasium.
Also, we have front clipping, removing the beginning of the word, phone from telephone, plane from airplane, net from internet. We have middle clipping, which is removing parts from the middle of the word, such as flu from influenza, fridge from refrigerator. Also, complex clipping, which is removing multiple parts, often from compound words. For example, SCI, FFI from science fiction, sitcom from situation comedy. It simplifies language by creating shorter, more convenient forms of longer words. Conversion. Conversion is a process of changing a word's class without major alternation to its form. Examples include adjectives to nouns. Adjectives like rich and poor becomes nouns when used with the, for example, the rich. Also nouns to adjectives, adding suffixes like ed turns nouns into adjectives, for example, talent, talented. Prepositions to nouns, adding s turns prepositions into nouns, for example, up, ups. Nouns to verbs, adding suffixes like ed turns nouns into verbs, for example, text to texted. Also, nouns / verbs to adjectives or other forms, adding or removing parts changes their function. For example, finance, financial, and decide, decision.
Next, back formation. English speakers commonly create verbs from Latin nouns that end in -ion, which have since become part of the English language. Here are the most common forms with examples. Latin nouns ending with -ion to verbs like television. Noun to televise, which is to. Televise means to broadcast something on TV. Projection, which is a noun. To project, which is to, and project means to display or convey an image or impression. Next, emotion, which is a noun, which is to emote, which is formed from to plus emote, means to express an emotion in a clear way, especially in acting. Next, translation, which is a noun. To translate, which is form of to plus translate, means to convert or express something from one language to another. Revision, which is a noun. To revise, which is form of to plus revise, means to review, edit, or make changes to something. Noun ending in er, or something close in sound to a verb. Swindler, which is a noun. To swindle To plus swindle means to deceive or cheat someone, often or for financial gain. Next, sculptor, which is a noun. To sculpt means to make art by shaping materials like clay or stone into shapes or figures. Editor, which is a noun. To edit means to make changes to something like document, video, or text. Next, daydreamer, which is a noun. To daydream consists of to plus daydream, means to have pleasant thoughts or fantasies when you are not paying attention to what's happening around you. Other noun conversions to verb. First, injury, which is a noun. Injury, which is a noun. To injure here, the final E is added because of an orthographic rule. And next, enthusiasm, which is a noun. To enthuse means to show excitement or interest. Next, jelly, which is a noun. To gel means to take shape or become definite. And the last example is liaison. To liaise means to cooperate or to start a link between people. Next, Latin nouns ending with ion to verbs, adjective to verb. First, lazy, which is an adjective. To laze means to be lazy or do nothing. Just relax. Next, obsessive, which is an adjective. To obsess means to think about something or someone constantly and in unhealthy or overly focused way. And finally, noun to adjective. For example, statistics, which is a noun, and statistic, which is an adjective. In this example, the final S is reduced, and the final example, paramedical, which is an adjective. As you can see, the AL is reduced here. And finally, this is our references. Thank you.